In the fields, the Aswang. This is a story recounted to me by my wife. She is a Filipino and lives in a small province called Santa Isabel on the island of Negros Occidental in the central Visayas region of the Philippines. This is her story. When I was a child around 10 years old, my parents asked me to go to the sugarcane field and collect some vegetables from the farm. Not wanting to go alone, I asked my best friend at the time to come with me to the farm. In my hometown, we grew our vegetables near the sugarcane fields because of the ample supply of water and the rich fertile soils. The roads to the vegetable patch are narrow and weave in and out of the rows of the sugarcane. As we walked towards the farm, we broke off a stalk of sugarcane and sucked on the sweet juice. It was not uncommon for us to eat the sugarcane stalks. Many children did this as it was a delicious snack. As we got close to the vegetable gardens, the sugarcane was getting taller and taller, and as a child, they seemed so large back then. We entered the vegetable patch to collect the vegetables, but we noticed someone was hunched over, looking at the ground. It was an old lady. Her long, grey hair was unkempt, sticking out everywhere, like an old wire brush. Her skin was pale white. It's very unnatural for a Filipino, as we usually have dark brown skin. My friend told me she was going to her patch to get some vegetables for her family, and she started walking away. This made me feel uneasy. I felt something was wrong with this old lady, and I felt scared. The hair on the back of my neck started to stand up. I wanted to run away. I wanted to run and get as far away from this old woman as possible, but I felt I was rooted to the ground, unable to move. Something was very wrong here. Suddenly, the old woman's head snapped up. And it was then when her eyes met mine, I knew that I was in trouble. Her eyes were bright red, almost like they were dripping with blood. Those eyes pierced into the center of my soul. The old woman, still staring at me, opened her withered mouth. With saliva dripping from the edge of her lip, she said to me, "Girl, you look delicious. I am going to eat you. I'm going to turn you into a fish and eat you raw. I will turn you into my food. You will fill up my belly." I knew exactly what the old woman was. I'd heard stories many times. These were tales handed down in our country for many years, and they were part of our culture. The name of this creature that came into my mind was Aswang. I knew in my heart that I needed to get out of there as fast as I can, but my legs would not move. I tried to scream, but my voice escaped me. Nothing came out but a whimper, like a poor, wounded bird. The old woman started to walk towards me. She was limping and dragging her legs, like she was unfamiliar with walking. She was getting closer and closer. Her eyes were unlike anything I'd ever seen. They were devouring my soul, and there was nothing I could do. There was a noise to my right-hand side. My friend appeared out of nowhere. It seemed to snap me out of the Aswang spell, and I could move my body again. I snatched my hand's friend and we started running, dragging her behind me, her vegetables flying out of her grip. She screamed at me, what was I doing? But all I could say was Aswang, and we kept running. We stopped near the edge of the field and looked behind us, and the old woman was so close I could smell her breath. It was horrible, like she'd been eating something dead and rotten, like raw meat. We were running. How could she keep up? I screamed and started running once again as fast as my legs could carry me. We burst out of the sugarcane. Luckily for us, we saw my friend's father who had came looking for us because we'd been gone for such a long time. Grasping for my voice, we somehow managed to stagger out the words, Aswang. He pulled his machete from his belt and he ran into the sugarcane. It seemed like an eternity until he came back. We were shaking and crying. We were so scared. My friend's father told us that he could not find the woman and that we should run home. I spoke to my friend the next day and she told me her father could not find the old lady. He believes she turned into a rat or dog and ran away before she was discovered. Warning for you if you ever visit the Philippines. I've been married to my wife for 23 years and I've been to the Philippines many times in the past. The story of the Aswang is part of the Filipinos' culture and history. Every Filipino knows the Aswang. The Aswang takes many forms, from an old woman, dog, rat, bat, bird, or their real misshapen, twisted human form. They have long claws, sharp fangs, and a long tongue that they use to get through the cracks of the roof, floor, or walls to attack young children. Young children, babies, and unborn children in the womb are their favourite treats. So if you ever see an old lady with blood red eyes, make sure you run, and you run as fast as your legs can carry you, or you may become her next meal. A girl called Miku. My name is Miku. Well, rather, that is her name. I was a regular teenager who loved music, scary movies, and of course, boys. When I was 17, I was dating a cute boy. He was sweet and loving. We went on dates to the park, movies, and concerts, and just generally hung out with each other. We would hold hands and kiss, but we never did anything more than that. I wanted to wait until I was married to give that special man all my love. He would always tell me he loved me, and that no one would ever love me as much as he did. He would always text and call. I thought it was cute when he felt jealous, and somehow that meant that he really loved me. One day, when I was getting ready for a night out with my boyfriend, I saw it, or should I say, I saw her. I was standing in front of the mirror and I saw a girl's head appear over my shoulder. She had black hair slightly covering her face, brown almond eyes. She looked at me in the mirror and she said, "Liar, liar, liar, he's cheating on you. Liar, liar." I was shocked and fell backwards, landing hard on my back. The pain shot through my back like an electric current, and when I sat up, the girl in the mirror, she was gone. Had I dreamed of her? Was I going crazy? I tried to get to my feet, but I could not get up. The pain shooting down my back was horrible. I crawled to my bed, and I pulled myself up. Somehow, I managed to lie down. I reached for my phone and I sent a text to my boyfriend that I could not make it to our date. I waited for a reply, but there was none. The girl's reflection flashed across the screen of my phone. Her eyes bore into me, and once again, she whispered, "Liar." A few days passed, and I recovered from my injured back. The girl in the mirror, she didn't appear again during this time. I was sure it was just my mind playing tricks on me. My boyfriend did not return my texts, and when I tried to call him, it went straight to voicemail. I was starting to get worried. The girl's voice whispered in my ear once again, "Liar, cheater." I screamed at her to shut up and be gone, but I could hear her whispering in my ear constantly. Finally, a day later, my boyfriend texts me and explains that his phone was stolen and he could not reach me. I believed him. It was a relief. We arranged to meet up later that day. We met in a small coffee shop just near my home. I was so excited to see him again. I'd missed him so much. But something felt strange, not quite right when I saw him. He was wearing a bright red scarf. It was a deep crimson colour, and it was draped over his shoulders. I'd never seen him wear this scarf before. We talked and he seemed nervous, like he was hiding something. That damn girl's voice was getting louder and louder in my ear. "Liar." I reached out and snatched the scarf from my boyfriend's neck, and then I saw it. There was a mark. A bright, red lover's mark on his neck. "Liar, liar, liar, liar." He confessed to me that he'd been seeing another girl, someone that would fulfill his sexual needs since I wouldn't. He told me it was my fault, and he could not wait any longer. He got up from the table and left, leaving the crimson scarf in my hands. I watched him walk through the door, and when he was gone out of my sight, that girl from the mirror sat across from me and looked me in the eyes, and a soft smile appeared on her face. It was the sweetest smile I'd ever seen. Her bright red lips looked soft and seductive. After looking from her lips to her eyes, I saw her smile started to twist into a sadistic grin. She said to me,
Liars do not deserve to live. Do you want me to do it? Make him and that bitch pay for what they've done to you.
She reached out and grabbed my hand, digging her nails into my soft palms. I felt the flesh rip, but I did not cry out. I did not feel the pain. I knew I would never feel pain again. I kept looking into her eyes, those dark, almond-shaped eyes. They had a power over me. I knew that I was trapped, and I didn't know what to do. I mumbled to her, "What is your name?" Without taking her eyes off mine, she said,
Our name is Miku.
Then she was gone. I walked home. I felt angry. It was a rage unlike anything I had ever known. The only thing that I knew was Sakura was dead, and my name was Miku. When I arrived home, I went to my bedroom and I looked in the mirror. The girl that I was before was now gone. I only saw Miku looking back at me. Reaching for my phone, I called for my boyfriend and asked him to come over. We needed to talk, and I told him that I wanted to apologize and that I could not live without him. Please, forgive me. He arrived a little after 8 p.m, and I asked him to come up to my room. He went into my room first, and he did not realize that I'd left the knife on the desk near my door. With his back turned to me, I reached for the knife. Its wooden handle felt good in my hands. I could feel the roughness of the wood as I plunged it into his back. Liar! He screamed as blood spurted from his back. That was fun. Pulling the knife out quickly, I felt the thrill of his blood as it splattered across my face. Falling to his knees, he begged me, "Why, Sakura, why?" Liar! Thrusting the knife into the side of his neck, his eyes opened wide. The look of pure horror fed Miku's bloodlust. Well, my bloodlust now. As the blood ran out onto the floor, I pulled the crimson scarf from my jacket and I wrapped it around his neck to cover the wound that I'd just inflicted. He dropped to the floor, rolling on his back. I knelt down on his chest and I said to him, "My name is not Sakura. I am Miku." Finally, he died. The cheating bastard had died. Thank you, Miku.
I will always protect you.
My parents came home and found me, laughing over my boyfriend's body, still with my hands wrapped around the scarf. Because they were rich, they disposed of the body through means only money can buy. As the years passed by, I was locked in my room, like a parrot singing in a cage. But I had Miku to keep me company. She visited me every day in the mirror, and soon we really did become one. It was a spring day when I heard Miku's voice whisper to me,
Try the door.
I grasped the handle like I had a million times before. It was cold to the touch. Pushing the lever down, it swung open, and I was free. Did she open this for me? I escaped the house and fled. I knew my parents would be looking for me soon. There was a park nearby. Maybe I should go there and hide. There was a large pine tree in the center of the park. It was very old and... Excuse me. I asked him what he was reading. He said it was a Japanese comic. I asked him his name and he replied, "I am Mike. It is nice to meet you. May I ask what your name is?" Looking at him, I replied, "My name is Miku." If you enjoyed this content, please like, comment and subscribe. And remember to always watch out for things in the dark.